Hello students and welcome to InstaHouse Geography class. We believe in democratizing education for all. Today, we are going to study about a very important topic, that is lifeline of national economy. So national economy, to begin with, transport and its types. Now we have been studying through different grades that the different types of transport, roadways, airways, landways, right? So we are going to discuss a little more in detail about these and try to understand how these transport system or transport type play an important role in a nation's economy. What is their contribution towards economy? All right, so let's begin. Now, transport types, as we know, it is land, water and air, right? So importance, what is the importance of this? It is efficient transport system are crucial for national development. So if the transport system of a country is good, well maintained, well linked, it is very important for the development of the nation. Now basically, see, the transport system is necessary not just for moving of people from one place to another, but also goods and different services to be provided and all, right? There are so many things involved in it, isn't it? So all of these, little by little, they contribute to a whole big cause, correct? So that is why the entire nation is developed if the transport system is developed of that nation. Communication, on the other hand, if you see, complements transport and trade. Now the communication is something that is that complements the transport and trade. We always say, right, transport and communication, if all this works together, then only you have a proper network system. Alright, now talking about India's connectivity. Now let us see, we saw the importance of connectivity. Now let us see what is the scenario in India. How is the connectivity in India? First of all, well linked globally through railways, airways, waterways, media and internet as well. Alright, so we are not just linked globally through the roadways, airways and waterways, but also we are linked globally through a very strong media and internet, right? So this is something add on to what we have been learning in earlier classes. Now what is the impact of this? Enhances socio-economic. So not just economic, but related to society also, so socio-economic progress. So we are making sure that our progress is not limited to our nation itself, but also globally or internationally. So that is socio-economic progress. Enriches lives, it makes the lifestyle better of people, right? So standard of living of people is enhanced or enriched, and improves amenities as well. So see, we have progress, enhances life and improves amenities. So because of these, we strive for better amenities to be available in the nation, right? So we have better amenities easily available for people to use, as well as for different reasons, right? Then modern lifelines. Now as times have been changed, the entire system has seen a big change, right? So transport and communication networks are vital, means very important for local, not just local but national and global trade. So you need to have proper transport and communication for local, right, from one one city to other, or even small town to another. Not just that, but also national, right, in the country, in the entire country, and also internationally. So it has to be very strong, only then your the connectivity will be better. All right, now if we talk about means of transport, land, okay, we have roadways, we have railways and we have pipeline. Now this is something different that we will be studying about in the further slides. So yes, by land we have roadways, railways and pipelines as well. When we talk about transport, means of transport by water, we have inland transport and we also have overseas transport, okay, from one country to another, right? So that is overseas. Then we come to airways. All right, when transport through airways, it could be domestic airways, which is owned publicly. All right, so public undertaking, and private airlines as well. So private airlines are available. Okay, roadways in India. Now let's just focus on our roadways. Largest network, we have one of the second largest. We are the second largest road network internationally, approximately 62.16 lakh kilometer as of 2020 to 2021. When we saw that, this was the global network. If you see, we are the second largest. Advantages over railways. Now let us understand what are the advantages over railways. First of all, lower construction cost. Okay, so the cost which is gone under constructions for railway, it is less as compared to that to railways. Accessible in varied topographies, different topography, be it plains, mountains, plateaus, so it is easily accessible. It doesn't matter that much. Handles steeper gradients, slopes, right, and mountainous regions as well. So sometimes it is very, by train it is difficult to reach different places like steep slopes and all, right. So here roadways, it is much better in that way. Then economical for short distance, very easy, you know, for short distance if you have to travel, it's easy. And even small loads which you don't have a lot of load to carry, then it is very easy. Provides door-to-door service. Now door-to-door service you can have, right, you don't have to, like, if as we are comparing to railways, right, so railway, a train will drop you to a station, right, it will not drop you to your house, isn't it? So if you go by road, I mean that way, it can be door-to-door service, right. So that is one thing. Then feeds into other transport modes as well, like for example rail, air, sea, ports, etc. So it is connected to all of these. So talking about Golden Quadrilateral, so let us understand this. Here it connects major cities, okay. So the major cities are connected with 6-lane highways. So this is 6-lane, correct. Then you come to national highways, major regional links. Basically they connect the major regions. And state highways, if you see, connects state capitals to districts. So capitals and districts are connected through state highways. Coming to the district roads now, link district centers with local areas, correct. So this is also required so that the local areas can be connected to district, then district to the state, isn't it? So every level is important. Other roads, if you see, rural roads under Pradhan Mantri Gramin Sadak Yojana are also being developed. Then border roads which are there on the borders, right, so built and maintained by Border Roads Organization for strategic areas, important areas. Now these are something where we have to be very concerned and cautious about. So this is an example. If you see the Himalayan roadside, how it has been made, and also the Ladakh roadside. Now Indian Railways overview. Now let's talk about the railways in India. Transport mode, then freight, passengers, business, then sightseeing, pilgrimage. There's so many more, right? There are many reasons why people basically move, right, from one place to another. Historical significance, if you see, over 150 years unifying India. So it is as old as 150 years and counting, right? Boost industry and agriculture. So not just people can use it. Even the different material goods, which are heavy goods, which cannot be transported through roads, can be transported through railways, right? So it helps in industrial transport, it helps in agricultural transport, where there's a bulk of transport to be done, correct. So it is very helpful. Public sector, if you see, first train was from Mumbai to Thane, all right, in the year 1853, around 34 kilometers, and 17 zones currently. So now currently we are across 17 zones. Alright, now railway zones, if we talk about distribution influences, physiographical, first of all, plains, rivers, hills, these are some of the physiographical aspects to this. Economic, if you talk about population, different resources availability, then administrative, the coordination, or how the coordination is going on. Then terrain challenges, what kind of terrain it is, maybe hilly region, mountainous region where it is difficult for this to be built, right? So if it is a sandy region, again it is difficult to build. Swampy region, forest region, it's very difficult to build a railway line, right? So these are some of the challenges that are faced. Now Indian Railways primary transport. Key for freight and passengers, different goods can be taken through. Even the passengers go from one place to another. Then multifunctional, there are different functions to this, right? For example, suppose business, different types of business can be carried out, right? So the material can be transported to and from. Tourism, it helps in tourism, and goods transport as well. So that is quite a lot of things happening here. Then integration, unifying bond, right? So it unifies the entire nation. All right, it acts as a unifying bond for the entire nation. It also helps or aids industry and agriculture, as we saw, as I already mentioned, that if there is a bulk of material to be transported, it can be done through railways, just in case if roadways, when it is not available through roadways, right? So that is one thing. Then different type of gauge are available over here. You have broad gauge, meter gauge and narrow gauge. Now this is basically regarding the distance between two railway lines, correct? So so that way broad gauge, if you see, it is 1.676 meters. All right, so this could go to 63,950 kilometer. Then we have a meter gauge that is around 1.000 meters, that goes around 2,402 kilometers. And then we have the narrow gauge, the small one, right? So that is 0.762 meters and 0.610 meters. So around 1,604 kilometers. So this entire total, if you see, all of this accounts up to 67,956 kilometers. Alright, now network influenced by geography, the geography of the place, right? So challenges include rivers. If there are rivers in between, how can you cut through a railway line, isn't it? So how can you cut through a railway to make a railway line? It's a river to make a railway line. Then hills and even difficult terrains, like again slopes are there, gradient, so very steep slopes, and also it is difficult to make railway lines through this. Then Konkan Railway, it is boasts west coastal connectivity, excellent coastal connectivity in the west. Then you have the challenges. What challenges do they face? Ticketless travel, people traveling ticketless, do not buy ticket. Okay, theft that takes place in the trains, where there have been incidences where the people, they stop the train and they take away all the, they loot the train and all that. Yes, that is one thing, and even causes damage to the trains, right? So what action can be taken is public help needed for punctuality and preservation to see that it is in time and also safeguarded. Alright, now this is a map of India that will show you the network of railways and how every place in India is connected to a strong railway network. You can take a good look at this. Alright, a little bit of extra information through Instabytes. Atal Tunnel overview. World's longest highway tunnel. It is the Atal Tunnel. Then this stretches up to 9.02 kilometer. Connects Manali to Lahaul Spiti Valley throughout the year. You have this. Then altitude, if you see at the height, it is 3,000 meters in the Pir Panjal range. Pipeline transport network. Now let's try to understand this. Okay, new transport mode. Of course, it is something new. Now, why is this for? This is basically for oil, for gas and slurry to pass through, right? So this is something new and a very thoughtful way which has been made. Now let us try to understand this. What are the advantages of this? Low running cost. Okay, so the cost cutting is done over here. So low running cost, no transshipment losses, right? So where the shipment and all need to be done, so that losses are not there, correct? Then key networks, it is connected properly. Assam to Kanpur. Okay, then from Salaya, Jalandhar, then HVJ gas pipeline is the one which is connecting, right? So these are something very important networks, key networks that connect. Then expansion also is taking place from 1,700 kilometers to 18,500 kilometers is the expansion. Now coming to waterways in India. A historical role. Now, if you've seen, waterways have always been the very first mode of transport, when it came to global transporting, right? So people used to travel through waterways only. So ancient seafaring nation, basically. So if you see benefits, it is cheapest, all right? Highway maintenance is not there, all right? You don't have to pay toll over there, right? So it is cheapest, eco-friendly as well, ideal for heavy goods. When really heavy goods are to be transported, it is the best way to transport them, right? So inland waterways, first of all, let's understand inland waterways basically. So these are around 14,500 kilometers in total. Approximately 5,685 kilometers are navigable, so where you can navigate. Okay, key national waterways in India, basically Ganga, these are inland, right? So mostly inland are through rivers, you can say. So Ganga, Brahmaputra, West Coast Canal, Godavari, Krishna, then Brahmani, Mahanadi, these are some of the important inland waterways in India. Sea trade, if you see 95% of trade volume is done by sea. Major ports, here you will see Kandla port, Mumbai, which I'm sure many of you all must have visited as well. Marmagao is there, then New Mangalore, Kochi, then we have Tuticorin, Chennai, Vishakhapatnam is there, then Paradweep, Kolkata and Haldia. This is an illustration of inland waterways, northeastern states. So this is how it looks, how the transportation takes place, you can see. Alright, now coming to airways. These are fastest and most comfortable way of transport. Yes, ideal for difficult terrain, so where you cannot go through roadways, you cannot go through railways and all. Best way is the airways, right? So you go from the top. So key regions crucial for northeast mountains. So here when we know northeast mountains and remote areas are the key regions where you can travel through airways. Then Pawan Hans helicopters supports offshore and remote operations as well. So these are some of the important things we need to remember. Okay, communication in India. So we've done about transport. Now let's understand communication and how important it is. Historical evolution, various means since human, it's like from a very long time, people have tried to have a better communication, and it is extremely important for development, isn't it, for any nation, for any region. So yes, it's been from a long time people have started communicating and trying to make that process more advanced. So rapid change in modern times have been seen as well. So modern communication, let's try to understand long distance without physical movement. So nowadays we can communicate from one place to another, like totally anywhere on the globe, without physically being over there or without physically going over there, right? So personal and mass communication also takes place through TV. So this is mass communication, radio, press, films. So these are all related to mass communications, isn't it? So Indian postal networks, if you see, largest in the world. So this is one of the things we need to remember. Indian postal network is the largest in the world. It handles parcels and personal written communications as well. So letters written as well, and even parcels. Okay, mail classification. So let us understand first class mail. If you see cards and envelopes airlifted, this is a first class mail. Comes to the second class mail now, book packets, newspapers, periodicals carried by surface mail. Alright, and then we have the mail channels. So let's understand this. First of all, it is Rajdhani channel, then we have the Metro channel, we have the Green channel, the Business channel, the Bulk mail channel and periodical channel. Communication in India, talking about the broadcast network, one of the largest terrestrial network globally. So broadcast network is one of the largest globally. If you see programs, entertainment, education, based on education, right, sports as well. So you have, then you come to newspapers and periodicals, which are there, published in about 100 languages and dialects. So different types of dialects, different type of languages they are published in, so that it reaches the local people and people get to know about the happenings in the country. So largest number in Hindi, followed by English and Urdu. Then we come to the next industry, that is films industry, includes short films if we see. Then we have video featured ones and we have video short films as well, certified by the Central Board of Film certification basically. So here it is not just made this way, it has a proper certification as well. Alright, now communication in India, you can see an illustration of emergency call box on highways, where if there is any emergency you can call through these booths. International trade, if we see, exchange of goods globally via sea, air or land, right? So we are having exchange of goods taking place not just through seas but also air and land. Economic indicator reflects a country's prosperity. International trade is good for country's economic growth. Much better than the economic, the country will also be good, right? So balance of trade, it has to be balanced, right? So how favorable if you talk about exports and imports, right? We export goods and we import goods. So how will it be better, more export or more import? Definitely more export. So if you're exporting more goods, we will get more income, right? And especially if it is in foreign currency, so it is much more better for India's economy. So export should be more, income should be import should be less. Unfavorable if it is more of import. If you are asking more from outside of from other countries, if you are importing more, a lot of money from our country is going out, right? So yes, so if unfavorable in case where import is more and export is less. India exports, now what do we export? We export gems, we export chemicals, what do we import? Petroleum, then electronics, and leading software exporter. We are leading software exporters as well. Another important thing, tourism, a trade basically. So a growing industry in India, very fast growing industry. Employment, it employs 15 plus million jobs to people. Now imagine so many people are getting jobs through this industry. Benefits, basically national integration, unifying bond again. Then it promotes our cultures and values, right? So culture promotion and global awareness. So our country is, people are aware, people know about the heritage of our country as well. So it is a global awareness. Types, if you see heritage, that is one. Then we have economies, then adventure as well, then medical and even business tourism that takes place, right? Then potential, if you see, high growth opportunities nationwide. It can provide a lot of growth throughout the nation. So let us summarize what we have done in this session. We began with means of transport. What are the different types of transport? What are the different means of transport? We focused on roadways, railways, waterways. Then we also spoke about how important communication is as a trade as well. And then we also spoke about the tourism as a trade and how tourism industry is important. So I hope you have understood and enjoyed today's session. See you all in the next session of InstaHouse Geography Cast. Thank you and have a nice day.